Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today is the Bernat Herringbone Crochet Blanket. Intermediate level, very fabulously textured, and using Bernat blanket yarn today. So we're going to be going through the steps on how to do this. So when you're looking at this, it seems obvious to start from the bottom and then work your way up. That's not how this one is done today. So it also has a step-by-step tutorial in format that you can see here, and we are going to also do it in video format just so that you understand it, and there is a crochet diagram available. So let's talk about the procedures on starting to make this. So when you're looking at this blanket, you're gonna notice that these are a large band like this. This is added on afterwards. So when we go to start this, we're gonna start immediately with the herringbone and then finish on the other side, and then these bands here will be then added to the blanket afterward, and then if you would like to do your fringe, you can do that too. So I'm gonna leave the fringe off of this video today. We do have several tutorials available on Yarn Inspirations as well as the Crochet Crowd learning channel for how to do fringe, and you can follow the instructions that are available in this pattern for the sizing that you wish. So we're gonna be concentrating on the diagram today, and let's talk about changing the size just in case this is something that interests you today. When we go to look at this pattern, there is a repeat going on in this thing. So the band that we have right here, that doesn't really matter because it's just one stitch in each. Here it does matter in order to keep the balance. So in order to keep the balance, you need to chain in multiples of 6 plus 8. So you go 6, 6, 6, 6, and then when you're satisfied with the width of this, just add 8 more chains and you will have the balance for this. So you can see that the 6 stitch repeat as indicated here. So you're going to notice that there's several steps that go in. So you can see that this chain 3 jumps down in front, and so that's going to be what's happening on this particular one. So the nice thing about this particular blanket is that every other row is working on the back of it. So when you're jumping down in front, you can physically see that. So it's not like something that's going to happen behind the work that you hope that when you turn it, it's going to be there. This, when all you're doing the fun stuff, is going to be on the front side. So when you really look at this particular element, you're noticing that the double crochets are separated by chains. So it's almost like a framework in behind, and the stuff that's coming down in front will fill out and make it look more solid than probably truly that it is. So it's still gonna be solid, but my point being is that in behind it's not just all double crochets, just to make it even heavier. So I think we're ready to go. Let's begin, and we're just gonna do some swatch work today, and I'll demonstrate how to do this, and then we'll demonstrate how to do that band. So let's begin. I am using Bernat blanket yarn in order to play, and we are going to begin with the slip knot. So we need to chain a certain amount, or you can do the multiples. It depends on what you would like to do today. So you can either chain in multiples of 6, 6, 6, 6, and when you're satisfied add 8, or you can chain 110 and have the exact sample. So choose the way that you're going to chain, and then I will be right back here just a moment. So I'm gonna do the multiples of 6. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Satisfied, yes or no. If not, do another 6, and then when I'm happy with it, just add 8, and or chain 100 or 110 if you'd like the sample itself. So whatever you decided to do, we're now going to work your way across that same chain. So you're going to go second chain from the hook, so just turn it here, and you were going to go second. Because this is Bernat blanket, I always say to turn around and get the back hump. If you do that, it creates a really large space that's very visible. So what I'm recommending in the Bernat blanket here is second chain from the hook, go in so that there's 2 strands on top of the hook, pull through, and then single crochet. So you will notice that it will create a really large hole into this project if you do it on the back loop. So you see it now, but it will balance out. So then chain 1, skip the next chain out, and single crochet the next, and you're gonna do that all the way across on your chain. So chain 1, skip the next one, and single crochet in the next one, and etc. Please do this all the way across. This is row number 1. So when you get all the way across, you'll end up with the single crochet at the end. Let's turn and work and begin row number 2. So the first side here is the right side, so we're now going to look at the wrong side, and we'll begin row number 2 in just a second. So in row number 2, we're going to begin, and we're gonna single crochet, and we're gonna chain 1 and then single crochet in the first one, and we're gonna match exactly what we see. So we're gonna chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, and single crochet in the next, and you're gonna do that all the way across. So you're matching exactly. So chain 1, skip the next one, and single crochet in the next stitch. So when you're skipping over a chain 1 space. So chain 1, skip over the chain 1, and single crochet in the next, and please do this all the way across. This is row number 2. So I'm just coming up to the end, skip the last, chain 1 space. I've already chained 1 and just single crochet in the last, and let's turn our work and begin row number 3. So row number 3, we're going to begin the fun stuff of doing the herringbone idea, coming down and then back up. Let's begin row number 3. As we begin row number 3, you're going to notice that the last 2 rows here were single crochets. Those are only when we're getting this blanket started, so we don't end up with major spacing at the end of a blanket. So now we're going to be changing up our idea. We're going to create the herringbone coming into this particular one, and then when we come back going across, you're going to notice that it's going to be different in the way that we're going to do that. So you got to watch that. So let's begin row number 3. You're gonna chain up 1 and you'll do 1 single crochet in the first single crochet, and then you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. So you're going to come down to where this one is right here. So see this chain 1 space? You're skipping that one and going to here, and you're going to go right into that space. Okay, do you see it? And slip stitch. So pull through and through, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So you'll skip the next space that you see here and just go right to the single. Okay, do you see that? So let's go again. So chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. So you're gonna skip this space, which is immediately after, and look at the second space and go second down. It's almost like that battleship game, if you remember as a kid. Maybe I'm dating myself, but remember that? I sank your battleship. So you're just looking at like a grid format. So you're gonna slip stitch down there and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. So skip the next chain 1 space that's coming and go right into the single. So you're doing that all the way across. So chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. So you skip the first space that you see, go to the second over and second down, and slip stitch, and then eventually you'll come to the other side. So you're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and the only option is you skip the next space that's coming and just go right into the next single crochet. So therefore you can kind of see it's going on here. So you're gonna turn your work and let's begin row number 4, which is on the wrong side, and this is where the fun begins. So every single crochet on row number 4 gets something. Okay, so you got to look at it from that perspective. So if you're on a single crochet up here, that's gonna get something, and then the single crochets that are in between coming down. So if you look at it, we went into the space and there's single crochets on both sides of that space. We're gonna be playing within those 2. Because it's further down on this particular concept, those ones are going to get double crochets. So watch what we do. We're going to chain up 1 and we're going to single crochet in the first one. So we're still gonna maintain a grid. So we single in the first one, chain 1. So now we're looking for the next single crochet, which is here. You can feel that there's a space here. It's right here, and that's where you're going to double crochet. So leave that herringbone alone in behind. Chain 1, and then you're going to come into the next single crochet. So there's a chain 1 space that's in between. If you look at it, if you peel everything, so you're coming into the very next one and you're gonna double, and then you're gonna chain 1, and the next single crochet that is holding the herringbone is the one that you're gonna play with. So you're just gonna single crochet there. So do you see that you're reaching down when you're in the herringbone section, but when you're coming up in between them, you can see that you're just filling it in. So let's try again. So chain up 1. So look for the 2. Think about like bedpost pillars or something for your mind. So just double crochet in the first single crochet that you see, chain 1, and then double crochet the next one. So there's a chain 1 space that's between those, and then chain 1 and then come back to the top. Do you see that? Okay, let's do the last one. So chain 1, double crochet down in, chain 1, double crochet the next one, and then eventually you'll come to the end. So chain 1 and single crochet in the top of the next single crochet that's available to you. So you can see you just filled in the behind there when you did that. So that was row number 4. So now we're gonna begin rows number 5 and 6, which is the repeat for the duration of this blanket. So let's begin row number 5. You're gonna chain up 1 and you're gonna do single crochet in the first one. So it's exactly what you already know when you came down and did this. So the difference is that you look over and see the pillars. You're coming in between, that's the middle, right? So if you look at that and follow that straight down, that is where you're gonna go, is right here. So you chain 3 to get there. So 1, 2, 3, and separate the pillars and then come down to this one and slip stitch and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet into the next single crochet that you see. Okay, so chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, see the 2 pillars, go straight on down and slip stitch and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then come back up in between. You can see those. So chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, see the pillars coming straight down and go through and chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then just finally do single crochet in the end. So you can see that it just filled in the grid marks that you saw. So here's what it looks like on the back, and let's begin row number 6, which is the last part of the repeat. So 5 and 6 are the repeat. So number 6, here we go. We're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet in the first one, and it's just like number 4. So chain up 1 and then look for the 2 pillars. Those pillars are now gonna match each other. You'll see them a lot easier now because they were double crochets. So continue to make those double crochet, chain 1 and do the other pillar of a double crochet and then chain 1 and then come in. So make sure this one here, this is part of the idea, make sure you go here. So it feels like you need to go here, but just peel that back and just single crochet in there, and that will hold that into position. Okay, so let's try again. So chain up 1 and go for the 2 pillars that you see. So double crochet, chain 1, and then do the other double crochet, chain 1, and then see how it's going in front. So just look for it and single crochet. You don't need to check it like that. I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes. So you're just gonna work your way all the way across in the same motion, and then that's it. So we're gonna be talking about the repeat in just a moment. So when you get to the very end, don't forget to single crochet that last one, and this was the end of row number 6. So eventually we have to be conscious on how we're gonna finish this thing, because you will see that there's gapping. So I'm sure there's gonna be something there, and let's go through the information on being able to do the repeat. So let's go through the repeat of this. You're going to do now rows number 5 and 6 over and over and over now until the project measures 52 inches, and you want to end on the wrong side, just like you see. So we want to end on the wrong side, and we're going to fasten off at this point. So you just want to fasten off once you get there. So you won't be there yet if you're just following this for the first time, and you want to weave in your ends. So when you weave in your ends, what I would recommend you do, just weave it in to the actual stitch work itself, and when you're crocheting right up over top of this stuff, then you can just trap it right underneath and it will catch. And the secret to Bernat blanket like this is that if you're weaving in one direction, I would also weave it back in the opposite direction. So I've been working this way, so I would turn this around and just kind of weave it through and bring it back in the opposite direction as well. I've learned that over the years with the thicker yarns, that it's better to go in two different directions when you're weaving in. So when you go right up over top of these stitches, it'll get stuck right underneath. So I'm gonna leave that until I'm done. So I'm on the wrong side, so I want to turn it to the right side, and we're going to begin the top edging of this particular idea. So we're going to grab the yarn again, and we're just gonna go into the top corner, and you're just gonna fasten on. So you can do a standing single crochet if you wish. So if you go through So if it's already in the hook and you go through and pull through, if you pull through 2, that's a standing single crochet. So you're going to go into each one of the stitches and chain 1 spaces across this blanket. So the next one is a chain 1 space. So go right up over top of your stragglers and catch those underneath. So the next one's a double crochet, so go in the double crochet, and then the next one's a chain 1 space. So pretty much every other stitch is a chain 1 space. So you're gonna wanna do that all the way across on your project, and this is the top edging, and we will be back in just a moment. So just single crochet in each of the stitches and chain 1 spaces across. So I worked my single crochet all the way across this, so I'm just gonna turn my work, and we just continually just chain up 1, and now that you've established it, it's just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. And then when you get to the other side, just turn again, chain 1 and single crochet back. So you want to do this enough times so this will measure a total of 4 inches. So when you're measuring it from the front side here, this should be 4 inches tall. Once you get to 4 inches, then you can fasten off, and then what we can do then is then begin to do the bottom side of this to be able to finish off the other side. So I'm just gonna single crochet my way across, and what I want to show you is how to fasten off with a tapestry needle, and that will be in just a moment. So let's just pretend we have our 4 inches done. So when you get to the end, you want to just cut this yarn long enough so that you can make it into a yarn tail so that you can use it to sew. So you're just gonna pull through. Now I found with myself is that if you weave in the final edge of anything, it'll always pop out, just as the law of crochet. So if you pop it through a tapestry needle, and then you just pop it through the bottom underneath the stitches, so don't you dare touch those outside so it doesn't show, and you're gonna pull through, and when you pull through you wanna pull it taut but not enough to change the shape, and you're gonna go a slightly different path back. It's all just staying within inside the stitching, and then one more time back in the opposite direction. So if you do this back and forth a total of 3 times, it should never fall out on you, and that's how you would fasten off. So let's begin, and we're gonna turn to the bottom edging. So we're gonna turn this upside down and start on the right side and begin to do the opposite side so that we have the band on both sides. To do the bottom edging, you're just gonna restart your yarn, and because I had you doing the nice stitch work, you're just gonna follow the stitches across. So just do a standing single because it looks nicer. So when you pull through, there should be 2 loops, and pull through 2. So we do have videos on standing single crochets. So like before, there is chain 1 spaces, so you're just gonna feed those with the single crochet as well, and the next one has to be a stitch if that was just a chain 1 space. So you're just gonna feed these in all the way across just like you did before, and I'll see you at the end of the row. So just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, or chain 1 space across. When you get to the other side, just simply turn your work and chain 1, and you'll do 1 single crochet in each. Like before, you want to make this band a total of 4 inches tall. So you're just gonna go back and forth and make sure they both look the same and get your 4 inches. I've already shown you how to fasten off, so at this point I'm gonna leave this for you, and then we're gonna move on to do the final border, which is the trim, and then you can do the fringe if you'd like to as well. So let's cover on how to do the final trim. So obviously you'll have a lot more herringbone, you'll have a lot more band, but this is pretty simple. When we go to start with this one, we're going to start with the right side facing up, so you should see the herringbone. The other side doesn't have it, and you just start off in the corner, and you're just going to go 1 time around and just do a standing single to start, and you're gonna do 1 single in each. Now when you get to a corner, you need to, and we'll finish this corner when we get back around, but you need to put in 3 single crochets so that you can do the bend that will happen. So let me get to the other corner, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment, and show you how to go down the side. So when you get close to the corner, the last stitch is the corner, so make sure you put in 3 single crochets, and that will allow it to bend and then turn the corner. So let's add 1 more. Now when you're going down the side, you just have to equally space those out. So just starting and just equally. So if it's starting to push in like this, it means that you're going too quick, and if it's starting to ruffle out like a dress, assuming that your dress is ruffling, then you are adding too many stitches too close together. So it's a fine balance, And make sure that you go right into some chain work. Don't go into a space, because if you go into a space it'll hold that space open. So go right into the chains work itself and just equally space all the way down. So when you lay this down, I would do probably about a foot or so and lay it down and see if it's gonna lie flat on you, and maybe you'll have a perspective on how to do the remaining of the side. So when you get to the very last stitch, which is the first one here, you want to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. So I've been crocheting a long time that I can get that to go pretty much the first time. So then you're just gonna go all the way around with that single crochet and then turn your corner and then come all the way back, and I'll see you at the end of this round in just a moment. So make sure you do put it in your 3s, and then we'll finish off with putting in 3 within the beginning one that we just started with as well. When you get all the way back around, remember that you've already started with 1 in the first one, so you just want to put 2 more into the side of that first one and then just join it to the top of the first single crochet to finish. Okay, so then you're done. I've already shown you how to weave off, so what I am going to do is just quickly review the fringe, and I'll show you how that's done pretty quickly, and we'll begin to do that in just a moment. So let's quickly review on how to do the fringe. You're going to take your yarn and you're going to measure a total of 14 inches. So you will want to grab a tape measure for that and just kind of eye it out to 14 inches. Okay, so what I would do is cut a whack of them at the same time. A whack in my language just means a lot. So what I would do is just cut one that you think is 14 inches or pretty close to it, and then just keep labeling, putting these down like that. Okay, so each one of the fringe is made up of just one of these strands. And what you're going to do at the end of this is that you'll just lay the blanket down, and then if there's any discrepancies in the height, you will just equally trim that across. So once that's done, you're then going to take this and you'll look at the right side of the project. You'll fold just one strand equally in half. So now what you're going to do is take this and start on an edge and work your way across. So when you go to stick it in, stick your hook from the back side coming to the front. It matters. So you're just gonna put the loop on and pull through. This loop here, when it crosses over top of this, will appear nicely equal on the front side of the work if you access it from the back side. So just spreading it open and pulling the 2 strands through, and see this crossbar, it will be on the front side of the work. So if you went the opposite way of going down and then pulling it through, this would be on the back of the project. So doing the next one, just fold it equally in half and go from the back in the next stitch, pulling it through, and then just splitting it and pull it through. And you're just gonna equally do that all the way across. So at the end of your project, all you can just do is, once you have it all done, if there's any discrepancies, you're just gonna eye it out and then just equally just, you know, safely cut it so that it's all the same distance. So I would lay it out and have it nice and flat like that, so therefore you'll have equal fringe if this is something that you're looking for. So it's a really neat idea. This is the Bernat Herringbone Crochet Blanket by yarnspirations.com. Please enjoy. I'd love to see your creativity, so make sure you share it with us here on on Facebook, and you can find more information on our Facebook for other free patterns as well as here on YouTube. Have a great day, and we hope to see you again, and here come the hands. Bye bye.